Well, well, well. Welcome back. Haven't said those words in a while. A lot of things have been going on, a lot of life. One of the exciting things that I'd like to share with you is my book. Been working on it for over a year. Been working on writing that book in my mind for decades. This book, I thought, it's time. It's time that I start putting my ideas and lessons and my life to some words on a page. I began the podcast with the intent twofold. One, to connect with a greater audience out there, but also to record primarily the lessons that I teach about life while being a teacher, right, in the classroom. I thought, well, what if I do the podcast and each episode is kind of like making a chapter? I can transcribe it and then maybe change the voice, the point of view, whatever, and right, boom, it'll be the precursor, the outline to my book. My mom, she wrote 11 books, mysteries. So the idea was cool. I've got an editor who's got a very keen eye and she knows me very well. So she can line edit and that way together we'll put it together. I did the podcast. It began the day before I had my surgery for my prostate cancer. Why not initiate something kind of harrowing and scary with something positive, something exciting, something new? And so my first episode was me setting up this podcast, this quote studio. And it was, I believe, what was it, the night before I just bought the equipment and I was trying things out. When I woke up, I was all kind of pumped about maybe distracting my mind from the surgery I was going to have later that morning. The third part was right before I was signing off to go to my surgery. So that encompasses chapter one. And then my promise to myself was an episode a week. So my mom was going to be the editor. I finished transcribing all of the episodes from the podcast into writing. And I asked her to be the editor, and she kind of surprised me by she was just hesitant. She kind of kept finding an excuse. I sent her emailed her one of the chapters, and I said how I need to change the voice. I need to change that point of view because it literally is just me talking to an empty room. And she said, Jonathan, that's what I love most about it. Of course, mom's going to be biased. So I kind of called her out on that. She said, no, really, it sounds like you, and I know you, and I love you, but it just sounds very personal, and it sounds very human, and it sounds very authentic. And that in writing is just, it's gold. So she recommended that I keep it as is, and I did. I did. The challenge was going back and getting the right punctuation. I'm such a nitpicker. I'm almost afraid to do yet another full reading now that it's actually published and in print, because I know I'm going to find typos. I know I'm going to wonder why I organized my thoughts in that way. Why didn't I restructure otherwise? But anyway, I think a bigger lesson, and I need to just stick with that and practice what I preach, is you can think about things forever. What's most important is taking the first step, is actually beginning. I have the book and I'm super stoked with it. My mom couldn't finish editing because she got sick. And very quickly died. As you can see, it's still grieving, but I kept the voice. So it's called the Sperling Circle. One, because nobody was going to take that title. And when I say the Sperling Circle, it's like the Sperling family. It's like the Sperling community. My kids know that I've got their backs to the end. And once you are a Sperling student, you're always part of the Sperling family. So, by being part of the Sperling Circle podcast and thus the Sperling Circle memoir, you're a part of something that I hope brings value to you. You're a part of something bigger than yourself. I think it's important for us to remember that. Helps us stay humble, helps us have gratitude and appreciate everything that we do have and everything that, and I'm not just saying in possession outside of ourselves, but everything that we possess inside. I want to read a little bit about what it's about. I really need to work better on my, what do they call it? My pitch. Because when people say, of course, what's the book about? Well, it's about life. It's about learning. It's about navigating adversity, dealing with it, because that's when we grow. And I think that is such an instrumental part of one's life, because otherwise, the other option is you're just kind of going with the flow. And I wouldn't say you're really not participating. You're not in control of your life. You're just letting the currents and the populace crowd kind of push you this way or that. So let me see if I can find, I had it and then I pulled my marker out of it. I really like it. I read sections. I'm like, I like that. I'm biased, of course, right? Hello. All right. So I say, this book is about progress from the small daily steps that help us align our words with our deeds. It's about the process of forming a more intentional connection with ourselves and others. It's about learning to pause, to ask the hard questions, and to find meaning in the messy, beautiful process of living a meaningful life. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Consider the stories and lessons here working like a compass to help you navigate through adversity and life blocks that are holding you back. All of us deserve to experience our true potential, and I hope this book will provide you with the insights and the tools to bring about and create the best version of yourself. I really believe that. And I really feel that giving this book a whirl can help bring some clarity into your day. It it isn't necessarily a book that you would start on page 1 and finish, you know, chronologically. I definitely think you should read the first chapter, um, entitled How We Got Here, A Beginning. And the second chapter, Attitude, Perspective, Purpose. Like those are clutch. Um, God, I teach that every day and I live that every day. But the rest, like I gave it to a colleague and she just instantly went to the table of contents and kind of took a moment. She's like, oh, 3 types of people. That sounds interesting. And so she started there on page 82. So it's kind of what it the titles are there to intrigue you, but also perhaps give you what you need in the moment. In front of each chapter, I have a summary, couple paragraphs, and then an outline. And then, boom, off you go into the chapter itself. Some are several pages, some are just a few. And then, as the teacher that I am, when I sign off with the chapter, what follows is a section that I call Experience and Apply. I can lecture my kids till I'm blue in the face, but until they put into practice the ideas or the concepts that I'm presenting them or introducing to them, nothing sticks, right? With that approach, I talk about life, I talk about lessons, experiences in and out of the classroom, etc. And then the follow-up is now put it into practice yourself. Think about it. Here are some questions, here checklist for applying these concepts. I put in different categories in every according to every chapter, but motivational thoughts or guiding questions, and then some activities to engage those ideas with your life. So it's kind of like a workbook, attached to a book about life. So philosophy meets practice. Anyway, I want to get back into the podcast, and I really am excited about my book, and I'm going to start promoting it. Been dealing with a lot of just tough adversity, right? And I literally have been reading a couple chapters. I'm like, I literally wrote a book about dealing with this. Again, yeah, I'm biased, but it's helped. It's helped me get through a real tough year. First, my mom went, and then 4 months later, my stepdad, they were married 49 years. He found out it was Valentine's Day. And he's like, "Oh, your mom always loved giving your mom flowers on Valentine's Day." Yeah, we all said, and okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And that evening, very poetically, he went to be with her, I think, to bring her some flowers. There you go. So I've been dealing with a lot of that. Just finished up another year teaching, and next year is going to be my last. I'm really excited. I'm excited to kind of graduate with next year's kids. Um, but you can see it. It's going to be emotional. You do anything for 34 years, and not just anything, but something that you truly, absolutely love. I know it's going to be hard. I know I'm going to deal with s- doubt and second thoughts. I'm such an anomaly. I'm 57 years old, right? I'm not supposed to retire until, I don't know, 61, 62. Every year it seems further and further ahead, especially with the recent deaths of my mom and stepdad. It puts life into even greater focus. We get one shot. That's all we know for sure. While I love teaching, doing it now 34 years, I want to go play. I want to go explore. I want to travel, learn how to sleep in again. Yeah, I'm ready with death, and I'm ready to. How do I want to frame it? I'm ready to get back at and reconnect with the people out there and sharing them with everybody in the Sperling Circle. Sperling Circle, available on Amazon.com, and I hope you get it. I think you'll enjoy it. Anyway, until next time, take care.